Hey everyone, it's Skylar. Welcome back to my channel, and we're on to day 10 of 31 days of November challenge month. And I'm sorry that I haven't been doing videos. I just had a lot on my mind, but we'll talk about that another time. Let's get back onto this. Of course, we're on day 10, and I know I'm a few days behind, but I'm gonna catch up slowly but surely. So anyway, we are on the last of the 70, 71, blah blah blah. We are on a movie from 1979. Now, I have two different titles for this film. I have the American version and the UK version. The American version is The Villain, and the UK version is Cactus Jack. This movie was released on the 27th of July 1979. Directed by Hal Needham, produced by Mort Engelberg, written by Robert G. Kane, starring Kirk Douglas as Cactus Jack and Margaret as Charming Jones, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Handsome Stranger, Paul Lynde as Nervous Elk, Strover Martin as Parody Jones, Jack Elm as Simpson, Mel Tillis as the telegraph agent, Ruth Buzzy as the damsel in distress, Foster Brute as the bank clerk, Robert Tessier as Machine Finger. Music by Bill Justice. Production company was Rasbar. Distributed by Columbia Pictures. I will try not to laugh, but if I laugh, I laugh. Need I say more? Movie starts off with a man riding on a horse in the desert mountaintop. And carries on riding around the desert, rides through the streams and more desert, then sits and messes around with his gun. Then hears a train chugging along and stands up and waits, then jumps on the train and misses. Sorry, I can't help it. It's just, I'll tell you at the end. And falls on his chest and rides along into the town, stops on the horse, makes him jump off, and Cactus Jack walks on alone. But the horse follows him and stops him. Then they ride into town and ride around slowly. Sorry, I can't help it. Ride round slowly. Then stops and gets off his horse. Walks around and tells the horse to go on front. Then Cactus Jack knocks on the door and goes in. Tells the bank clerk to shut the door and open the safe, and gets on the floor, but opens the safe himself by blowing the safe up with a bomb, but doesn't blow up the safe and tries to get away, but gets arrested. Then the next day everyone is fighting. Then the handsome stranger helps a lady off the road onto the side, but doesn't find him. Then a man and a lady walk along, and the lady gets on the train and goes to another town. Then the handsome stranger asks for his telegram and tells him what the message was, and the lady is coming in the evening time, and then goes for something to eat. Then the lady is on a stretcher. Then the handsome stranger looks puzzled as he carries on walking. Then at the sheriff's office, the policeman talks to Cactus Jack and says we can do business together, and offers him $1,000 and walks away free, or gets hanged, and agrees to take the money and walks free. Then gives him $20, so Cactus Jack gets his horse and rides away and goes to the saloon and opens the door, goes in and asks for a whiskey. But the horse comes in because his name's called Whiskey as well. but wants a drink of whiskey instead, and drinks the bottle and punches everyone, and then he gets knocked out by a 2x4. Then the handsome stranger is going to eat his dinner but doesn't eat it and leaves to pick up a girl, and gets the badge for the girl and escorts the girl, and they start to talk about her father and about Denver and what happened as the cat house was on fire. Then talk some more. Then the bankman knocks on the door and finds Cactus Jack snoring. Then he suddenly wakes up and gets out of the bed and trips over some bottles and washes his face. Then the bankman goes away. Then Cactus Jack hears noises, then wakes up and realises that it's a pig and freaks out. Then the next day, handsome stranger and the girl ride away. Then Cactus Jack gets on his horse and rides away. Then handsome stranger rides along with the desert with the girl, with Cactus Jack following them. Then handsome stranger gives the girl the reins, while handsome stranger fixes the bags. Sorry, I can't help it. Then whiskey elevates Cactus Jack up a mountain top, then shoots the gun and tells Whiskey his plan and waits around, then sees the horse and can't and gets run over, but holds onto the under carriage the horse and cart, but lets go, and Whiskey walks past them, then finds Whiskey and then rides backwards. Then Indians look and watch Cactus Jack where he's going. Then handsome stranger and the girl continue on the horse and cart. Then Cactus Jack and the horse on another hill and climbs down and gets a boulder on his head. Then the horse and cart continue to ride along, and the girl talks to the handsome stranger, but is quiet and asks does she want to see his gun, and says it's different. But the girl asks questions and he says no one has asked me that before. Then the horse and cart stop as a man is playing the piano, but it's actually Cactus Jack in disguise. Then asks for the handsome stranger for his gun and gives him it. Then he shoots the gun and the horse runs away in fright. Then handsome stranger and the girl carry on the horse and cart. Then Cactus Jack and Whiskey talk about stealing money and says he will buy him some nice fillies, little lady horses. And then Whiskey rides away. Then Cactus Jack sets out another plan as the horse and cart comes past, and yet again Cactus Jack fails again. Then the horse and cart plough on through the windy roads. Then Cactus Jack is on a mountain top again. Then the horse and cart pass through a stream and then stop for the night, and opens her bag, gets out pillows, a blanket, and Cactus Jack flexes his muscles and locks on. Then handsome stranger talks about the North Star. Then he gets the wood, and then the girl takes off her clothes while Cactus Jack watches, and she goes in the water and Cactus Jack falls in the water. Then Indians look on. Then it's night time and all is sleeping. Then handsome stranger talks to Charming about her name and they talk some more. Then they fall asleep, but handsome stranger gets more wood. Then in the morning Cactus Jack wakes up and the horse and cart rides on. Then Cactus Jack whistles for Whiskey, but just stands still and sits down. Then the Indians look on and laugh at Cactus Jack. Then finally Cactus Jack rides on and the Indians follow behind him. Then Cactus Jack has a rope and yet he falls down again, and then he shouts for his horse, and eventually they ride on through the stream. Then Cactus Jack hatches another plan. Then the horse and cart come, and the boulder comes down and goes behind them, and yet hits Cactus Jack and flattens him. And then he gets up. Yet again. Then again Cactus Jack rides on and hatches another plan. Then the horse and cart come past again, and Cactus Jack changes the sign around and goes through the tunnel, and yet when Cactus Jack goes through it, it knocks him out. Then Cactus Jack is looking over the mountains and says it's a shortcut, and tells Whiskey to back up and make the line tight. So Cactus Jack uses it as a tightrope and tells Whiskey to back up, but doesn't work, and he falls. Then the horse and cart come past, and yet again Cactus Jack looks on and walks behind them, and Handsome Stranger tells the girl that they're entering Indian country, and Cactus Jack says he does it his way and rides on. Then a spear stops Cactus Jack in his tracks, and it's the Indians, and Cactus Jack can't break the spear. Then looks at the Indians and talks to each other and hopes they can help each other. And the Indians are going to help Cactus Jack, but Whiskey the horse backs away and says to the Indians, "See yous at the camp." So the Indians follow Cactus Jack to the campsite. Then Handsome Stranger and Charming settle down again for the second night, and hears drums, which frightens Charming. Then the Indian and Cactus Jack are planning out the attack. Then Handsome Stranger and Charming talk some more and says this time tomorrow you'll be home with your father. Then in the morning time they set off, and Cactus Jack follows them, but waits until the Indians say so, and they start to ride, and the Indians fall off. Then Cactus Jack says it's not going to work out. Then the Indians say we will continue to work together, but Cactus Jack goes after his horse. Then the horse and cart ride away from the Indians, but the horse and cart goes a bit slower, then gains a bit more speed as the Indians stop, as it's the end of the line, so the horse and cart continue on. And Cactus Jack has got some glue and puts it on the tracks, starts to laugh and shake his head, then goes and hides. Then the horse and cart run past the glue, and Cactus Jack stands on the glue, faints, and the train comes past, and now he's stuck on the glue and is on the floor of the train screaming his head off. Then Cactus Jack goes Then Cactus Jack goes past a fence to a farm and tiptoes around the farm and tells Whiskey to stop. Then kicks the door in and finds nobody, and comes back out and then finds another door, goes in that, looks around, finds some blasting powder, runs out, gets some more, and moves until he gets the lot, then pours it outside along a trail, then to do a shed more of blasting powder, and shouts Whiskey, who was on the toilet. Then the horse and cart come along and stops, and Handsome Stranger gets out and sees blasting powder and says it is dangerous, and lights it anyway, and comes in the other direction and blows the barn up, and Handsome Stranger and Cactus Jack start to square up. Then Charming goes up to Cactus Jack and asks for his intentions, and Cactus Jack wins. Charming and does backflips everywhere from one part of the barn to the other. Go up and down, and then lifts, and then he's like on this like little ledge thing, and he lifts his hat up and goes and says "Yeehaw!" And then that's the end of the film. Right, before I carry on, sorry that there was bits of that I was like sort of thing, like like being a bit mad, but the reason why I was doing that, and it comes on with the thoughts of the film, is because I almost wet myself laughing. That film was so hilarious. I just thought it was so funny, and I mean, everything about that film just ticked all the laughing, hilarious boxes ever. Oh my goodness. Freaking Kirk Douglas. Oh my word. He was friggin' funny as Cactus Jack. Every time he'd do something, he'd always fuck up. Sorry. Do you know what it also reminds me of? If you've ever seen Wacky Races, or The Perils of Penelope Pitstop with Dick Dastardly, and he had his little pet Muttley. Well, Muttley reminds me a lot of Whisky, he was a bit dumb. And friggin' Cactus Jack reminds me so much of Dick Dastardly. Oh, it was just, I just was watching a cartoon version of Cactus Jack. Oh, everything about the film, how it was shot, the setting, the acting made me laugh. He walked in and go, right, go rob the bank. And the fella goes, I've got no money in the bank, and he still tries and robs it anyway. It's just so funny. Like, if you really like, what I'm trying to get at is, if you like films that, if you are feeling down, you want a film that cheers you up, Cactus Jack, aka the villain, it's one of them films. It's one of them films that it's been brought out for somebody that's like really upset in their life, or they're really down. You watch this film and it'll bring you right back up. It is hilarious. If you like some of the films, them wacky films where like a fella, like, he's like a master of disguise, or does like the whole, draws the black thing, colours it in and pretends it's a tunnel, and then like they go through, and yet when he does it, he knocks himself out. If you like sort of films like that, like I call them amazingly funny comedy films, then this film is for you. I just adored it. It made my day when I was watching it, and I was so happy writing stuff down about it. I just couldn't stop laughing. I had to what I was doing, I was kept on pausing the movie, writing stuff down, laughing, playing, writing it down. Oh, it was hilarious. And to be honest, also, before I end this film as well, I just thought it was funny, because like Charmin was like every fella's like desire, and in the end she goes for the bad guy anyway. And he does all flips everything. Oh, it's crazy. That's why it was made me laugh, and I was like doing that, because it's one of them films that you need to do it in like a weird sort of way, like a cheery sort of way. So rating, that's what I'm giving it for a rating out of 10. 10. Because it just made me laugh. Everything about the film was spot on. It was perfect. Yeah, it might not be for everybody, but to be honest, it's more. This is more of a film that you can watch if you're really down, you're really sad. If you want a film that's gonna, or if you just want to watch a funny film, or an amazing comedy slash, it's like it's got it is a western, but it's got comedic elements to it, then this is the film for you. So I am going to give Cactus Jack, also known as the villain, 10 out of 10. No doubt about it. It deserves it. So, of course, I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay gaudy, have unpleasant dreams, and I will see you very soon. Ta-ta for now. Bye.